This is World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with your host, Karl Gruber. World Awakenings is a podcast dedicated to opening your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how they play an all-important role in our daily life. So join Karl on this enlightening experience as he interviews metaphysical and spiritual experts to discuss, debate, and delve deeply into the hows and whys of this worldwide awakening.
Hi guys, I'm Karl Gruber, author of the new book True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship. Are you tired of being caught in the web of negativity that our ego-driven world mandates as reality? Say one positive thing and all you hear is, get real, get your head out of the clouds and prepare for the worst. Well, I'm here to tell you that negativity is not reality, and that the opposite is true. This is why I have written and published this book. In my new book, I show you how you can walk hand in hand and in alignment with the law of attraction and eternal universal spiritual truths, which will allow you to make all the positive, loving, happy, abundant, and healthy things you desire your reality. Find out how you can become a consistent co-creator of your life with the universe and get out of that negative spiral of lack, attack, and judgment. Get your copy today of my new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship by Karl Gruber, now available as an ebook and paperback on Amazon. Hey, thank you for once again joining us here on World Awakenings, the Fast Track to Enlightenment podcast. This episode, number 103, is sure to catch your attention with today's guest here on a show that focuses on all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening. Now, before we head off to meet her, please take the time to click the link below to check out my new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And also click that subscribe button so you never ever miss a single episode of this show. Well, today's most amazing guest is Maureen Allen. Since childhood, she has been a natural channeler for angelic masters and beings and has reached the point where she is now the primary oracle on earth for 4 ascended master teachers, Kuan Yin, Jesus, Mary, and Buddha. I can assure you that what she and her friends have to say to you today will not only be memorable, but will be the wisdom of the infinite to help you deal well with your journey here on earth as a human being. So with that, welcome, Maureen. I'm so glad to have you on the show here.
Thank you, Karl. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. And as you and I both know, this is not the first time we've talked. You were on another show that I co-hosted a while back, and that was really exciting. I knew I had to have you on World Awakenings here.
That was a fun show. It was very enlightening. I enjoyed it a lot. So did the Ascended Masters. So we're excited to be back again.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So let's dive right in. You are described as a master channeler. How is this different from just being a regular old channel of beings from different dimensions and realms?
Good question, because when I've actually had a name change, which is no longer Maureen Allen, and it's actually Oracle Maureen, which is my proper name in heaven. And when that name change happened, I got lazy and stopped putting master channeler underneath my name change recently. And God gave me a vision, literally just like about 2 weeks ago, reminding me and asking me to include the title of master channeler and spiritual teacher underneath Oracle Maureen. And he explained to me because it is so extraordinarily rare and unique, and it's the reason why you are able to receive so many of our words. So when I channel, whether it's a live channeling, or if you go into my blog, and there's a lot of channeled paragraphs from the four ascended masters, and I also work as a primary oracle for God, his messages, it explains why I'm able to get so many clear, accurate words to the level of paragraphs after paragraphs, because the level of connectivity to the five of them, as well as any other guide or angel or friend or family, if I was doing mediumship, is so closely connected to them. It's because of the level of connectivity being, the closer you are to a guide or an angel, the more information you receive from them. Master level channeler, in addition to achieving that master level, like think if we're on Earth, someone can receive a high school diploma, a college BA, a community college degree, a graduate degree, or a master degree. They're more accomplished with what they've earned and achieved over their ascension process of basically the collective lifetimes, and also how they came out of the gate, how they were created. So I was created already at that master level, but worked hard, they showed me, maintaining it throughout my incarnations. The other reason master level channeler is significant is the ascended masters would only have someone at that level that's achieved a master level channeling ability working for them as a principal oracle, and entrust them with the level of channeled words that they would be willing to put on paper. Not that they don't have other principal oracles on Earth. They do have, it's a very small group of them. If they've achieved the level of clairaudience and all the other abilities that I have or not, I don't know, but it's highly significant. So the other component of master level channeler has to do with someone who's achieved with their level of abilities, their ethics, to be able to be allowed to work for Jesus and the other three ascended masters that I work for. So you're at that top of the level. So that's how you can look at it.
So I'm excited to, we will be talking to the four teachers here shortly. But let's, what I would like to find out, especially for the audience viewing and listening to this, I understand that you had this ability since you were born, but you weren't necessarily in an environment in your family where it was accepted or understood.
Yeah, as a child, as a small child, I would channel, like as a child and as a teenager. And I had this extraordinarily strong thought and feeling to never reveal that I was, as a child, the word was an advanced channeler and a guide working on Earth. And I knew God was communicating with me strongly throughout my whole childhood and teenage years, was impressing on me to not reveal that, to just do the work and to not reveal it. And it was also a test to have that level of strength to not reveal it, because I would be under discrimination and persecution, because people would become more afraid of me, because then they'd realize, oh, she might know something through abilities that I have that they don't have, i.e. that opens the door for the persecution and criticism. The persecution is the unfair sabotaging. The messages around God as a child was not until we tell you to. And then at age 36, during the ascension process, where I received the miraculous experience where for 2 months I saw, it was 7 or 8 of the collective group of my guides, my angels, and my dad. And then over 2 years, they worked with me to embrace them. They activated them to a high level. And then over that period, I started working. Then it was time to step forward and publicly announce it, because after that 2-year period, it was time to work publicly in the world with the abilities, the gifts, on a full-time level. Then as an adult, I'm stronger and I can handle the unjust behavior and the pain and the suffering that comes with friends and family and students and clients that will sabotage to your face or behind your back with persecution because of the fear of the gift. So to keep me protected as a child, I was not to reveal it until I became an adult. As an adult, I was stronger. That was when I had to carry that cross on my back, which I started to do. So yeah, and it was cool. As a child, I would see angel wings disappear a lot of times in front of me, and I'd see them come all the way around me and then in me, and then the channeling would just start, and whatever friend or family I was in front of as a kid, it was just beautiful. It was insightful. It felt nothing but blissful for me. It was so wise. When it was over, I'd have no memory. The human in front of me would be kind of like amazed and overwhelmed, and they're like, how would you ever know anything like that? You're 8. And I'm like, I don't know, let's go have a Pop-Tart. So by then they put me back in my body, and I would have no recollection of what I really said, but I would also know it wasn't me. It was their guardian angel or my angel. And it would just happen again and again. And then I loved it, because every time I got to channel, my soul shifts out, and the soul of that guide or that angel that's using me enters me, and it feels nothing except extraordinarily blissful, like nothing else. So for me, it's like I never want it to end. So I look forward to it. It was nothing I ever resisted. It was actually the complete opposite.
So wow, that's really interesting. I've had other channels and here when they said, especially when they were even younger, when they were little toddlers, they could see things that other people couldn't, and they didn't know it was any different. Than they thought everybody could see it. So they really just,
When it comes to my psychic abilities, that was how I felt about how I knew things before they'd happen, and I'd get impatient with my family members. Like my brother and I had a thing about taking turns answering the phone as kids. Like, when your friends started to call you at that age of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And when we were like watching TV or hanging out, we'd be like, it's your turn to get the phone. I'm like, no, it's your friend David. Go get it. You just go get it. It's your friend David. And he'd argue, no, just go get it, David. And he'd be like amazed. Or if the siblings would put me in a situation, you're lying to me. You're lying to me, and here's how you're lying to me. And so the lying and the future predictions, and I'd get annoyed with them on, how did you not know that was David? And how did you not know that I was going to know that you're lying to me? And you think I was going to accept it? So that hit me hard through my whole childhood. And that was where there was a clear distinction between me and the friends and the family, where you could just kind of be like, there is a difference, and how do you manage it? So
wow, that is amazing. And here you are as an adult, a primary oracle. And one last thing, until the age of 36, where you finally accepted your mission, did you have a regular job, and were you raising a family or anything like that until you accepted this?
Yeah, I went to college. I got a degree in journalism and advertising. And after that, worked as a news reporter. I couldn't write anything except the facts, just like who, what, where, why, when, just like when you're channeling. Yeah. And then I worked for my family's real estate company, very, very part-time, on and off. And then I did get married. I had kids. And when I was called upon, my kids were very young. So I had the lifestyle of basically a stay-at-home mom with at that time, 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. And obviously I was really afraid of what the neighbors would think, what my daughter's parents, friends would think, would they let them play with my kids? So I went through a whole transition, being highly worried for me and for them about such a lifestyle changing for me and for them. When it wasn't stopping, I tried to stop it, being like comfortable as a suburban mom after having worked and then settling as a stay-at-home mom. I also had my own publishing company they're showing me before my daughters were born with my ex-husband. So I did the traditional career thing, which taught me the basics of running a business. And so I resisted it. I tried actually really hard to shut it down after I had the beautiful experience of seeing the guides and angels. I just tried to I don't know why it happened, but it's okay, it's whatever. And I just try to push it. And then what happened to me was, because I wasn't grateful and graceful about it, I had to go through a period of like 6 months of being harassed by negative entities, which were actually ghosts. And it was traumatic for me. And then once they were starting to affect my daughters and bother them, I had to reach out for help from someone like me at that point. And she walked into my house, and the first thing she said before she knew anything was, Maureen, you're highly psychic, you're highly gifted. So is your youngest daughter, Emma. This will all go away. It's because you've denied your gifts. You guys and angels are now showing you, basically, they're going to get you this way to get your attention, because it's going to be a mistake that you're going to live to regret if you turn away from them and don't serve them and mankind using them. And then she walked through and she identified the entities that me and my daughter Emma were seeing and experiencing, and she identified psychically everything about my daughters and situations that nobody could have known. She proved herself. She said, psychic development class starts tonight at the center I work at. Your guides are saying it's basically mandatory for you, or this won't get released from you easily. And at that point, I'd been harassed by the ghosts, and so were my daughters. At that point, out of fear for my daughters, I thought I'll do whatever it takes to get them relief. So I went. And when I went, I was fighting it so bad, because in Woodbury, Minnesota, it's not a normal thing. It's very much out of the box. The whole time I was there, my third eye was open. And at that point, I wasn't really remembering it was my third eye, but I kept getting visions of all these beautiful hearts and roses, like I did during the 2-month activation period with my guides and angels. And they would be vibrating at me, and I'd be sent the feeling of love. And it would last a whole 45-minute ride to the place. And I would see an angel come in the third eye and just help my hand on the driving steering wheel when I wanted to turn off and go home. And then that night they had us do mediumship psychic readings. And I'm a really shy person. And I'm like, no way, I'm out. I am out. That's it. And I just sat there and froze. I'm like, I'm out. I'm leaving. There's no way I'm doing some reading. And they put their hands on me and they held me down. And I went, oh, they held me down. And they kept showing me the hearts and the roses. Their hands were here and I couldn't move. And I went, so we did the mediumship readings, and they opened me up so wide. And I'd never done mediumship, that I'll never forget it. The male student peer that I did a reading for, it was his mom that came through. And I saw her crystal clear. I heard, saw, felt, know, which means all your psychic channels, everything, who she was, how she passed, could describe her exactly like how I see you and me, details about her, him. His mouth was hanging open. At the end, he just raised his hand and just goes, Echo, she's already at a professional level. And it just blew him away and blew her away. And then that made me be like, okay, I'll stay, but this is like nerve-wracking and scary. But that was like the gift. That was such a gift when they opened me up at that really advanced level the very first night. And that made me stay committed to staying in the development class. And then my students my students that I was in class with kept coming to me for readings outside of class. And then that built my confidence. And then I overcame the fears of what friends and family would think, because the joy I got doing readings for the people and the people in heaven outweighed my fears anymore. So I looked back at one point and I recognized that my guides activated me very high that night and gave me such a tremendous gift. And I've been grateful for that, because it helped me overcome all of the fears that you have to overcome to be a major minority in a world where most people aren't this, basically, and you're up against a lot of perspectives that aren't quite always willing to embrace those of us like me who are like this.
Wow, what an incredible shift in your life. And I can, I say to the viewers and the listeners here, think of what it would be like for you if you had this gift. And you could understand why Maureen was so scared and nervous and everything. Wow, wow.
Drew pictures, Karl. I drew pictures when it was over of my guides and angels. I kept getting the message. I kept hearing from them to draw pictures of us. And so when it was over that 2-month period, I drew pictures of them. I'm so glad I did, because later, it wasn't right away. I think it was maybe at least over a year later, I found out the second guide that appeared in that process was Kuan Yin. And I didn't know at that point who she was anymore, because at that point amnesia had hit. And so they showed me this was her, and they showed me right from the very beginning. I was right there working for her, but I had to work through all of these steps in order to work up from the level of a called upon oracle to a regular one to eventually a principal one. And so in this ascension process, I had to work hard, like really hard. And so the pictures, I have them in a book. I'm going to show them on my YouTube channel, because they've given me that mission to do. It helped. And the angel, one of my guardian angels, I looked at that during like periods, and it inspired me to just like keep going forward through periods that are you're just unusual, and that's okay. That's
wow, what an amazing story. And here you are helping mankind in a beautiful, beautiful manner. So, of course, we do want to talk to your masters, your teachers here. One last thing, you're called a principal oracle for Kuan Yin, Jesus, Mary, and Buddha, and also a direct oracle for God. Why these 4 ascended masters in particular, and what is a direct oracle?
Actually, it's actually principal. I just haven't updated my website.
I see.
So in the ascension process, when I was first called upon, think back when I was 36, and I didn't back out, and I didn't quit, right? I fought through my fears of friends leaving me, friends being afraid of me. Oh, guess what? Yeah, that did happen. So when your friends and family realize you do have these powers and you could find out undesirable information about them, they can turn on you and sabotage you, and they can leave you, or they can sabotage you, and you may have to step back from them, because you can't have people, I can't have people in my circle that can disgrace my good name, because I work for Jesus and Kuan Yin and Mary and Buddha and God. So I've had to be tested in a lot of ways. I had to be tested with the marriage. The ex-husband was horribly unaccepting of my abilities for a lot of reasons, and was making it extremely painful for me to be in a state of being allowed to be activated, as well as our youngest daughter. And I was tested. One night I received a visitation from an angel, and because of the intimidation and the verbal intensity, we'll call it, that he was putting me through, intimidating me not to go forward and use my abilities to help people with readings and all the other ways I can help, ghost clearings, healings, detective work. I was woken up in the middle of the night, and this beautiful angel with black hair, and she was wearing a white dress, and it was completely like, there's, what do you call this, sleeveless. It just stunningly beautiful, was floating above me. And she said, you have free will, and you must make a choice. If you choose to stay in this highly disharmonious relationship, we are going to have to deactivate your powers and your gifts, and you will not be allowed to use them and work for us. If you have the strength and the desire to leave this disharmonious relationship for your sake and your children's, then we will activate you further and give you more gifts and more rewards, and you will be allowed to serve us. And I just laid there and went,
Yeah.
I said, done. And the next day I knew what I had to do. So
Hmm.
there are so many tests. So I'm giving that as an example that over the years, I was tested with a lot of things in those tests, as well as being asked to do the things I was asked to do. If I was asked to meditate an hour a day by God, which I was, and I've done it faithfully for, I think that was in 2016. It's a priority. Nothing comes before that. So if God says, do this, I do this. If Jesus says, do this, I do this. If they want less meat, if they want certain music I'm not allowed to listen to, whatever it is, it's very strict lifestyle I have to live. All their requests and their wishes, as well as a very demanding schedule in a lot of ways, I've earned what's called steps up. I've earned working my way up the ladder. So, which means going from a called upon oracle for them to a regular one, to the primary, to the principal. And the principal means 24 hours, 7 days a week at any given moment. And it is at any given moment, which means I don't sleep through the night. Most nights I'm woken up at least once, if not twice, with messages from, typically it'll be God, Jesus, or Kuan Yin, which a lot of those messages you'll see on my blog, messages that have to do with the world, or messages that have to do with my charity, their charity. So the dedication, the determination, the virtues, the obedience, what I've done it's the work reward, basically. If I had become disobedient or irresponsible or unethical, I would not have made it to the principal level. In this incarnation, it would be maybe she can do it next time. So it's that.
Wow, at least you're not bored. I hope you get a nap once in a while during the day.
What they'll do, Karl, is they'll put me out in those hour-long meditations when they know I need sleep. They'll actually put me to sleep for a while, and then they'll wake me up. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, if you would be so kind, if we could bring in one of the teachers right now, and I was wondering if we might be able to now bring in the goddess of compassion, Kuan Yin. I have a couple questions I'd love to ask her.
Okay, so what we'll do is you're going to ask your questions, and how it works with them is it's whatever you're answered by whoever you're answered. Your desire is Kuan Yin. My desire is to serve you, and hopefully she will be the one to answer you. But be mindful, any one of them may answer you instead, or may answer you in addition. So I'll let you know exactly what I'm experiencing over here. So I'll begin to see them while they make the merge in me. And sometimes more than one will answer me if we're allowed that. I am going to tell you one thing I was given yesterday, and I know it was in preparation for your podcast. God gave me a vision of the earth last night, and he showed me the earth like just perfectly floating in front of me, and he put the earth in the universe, and he gave the universe, instead of the big blue sky, which he normally will present it to me as, he actually gave it more of a black like evening nighttime sky, and he showed white light on half of the earth, and he showed me the earth shifted, the earth shifting. So he was letting me know that there has been a shift that he's made planet Earth shift into when it's come to, Kuan Yin said, the awakening process, because that was actually one of your questions. So there has been a shift that has helped open the door for, here she comes. Kuan Yin is now coming behind me. She just put her rosary of pearls in my right hand. For those who desire enlightenment, to begin to have opportunities to work on their soul's evolution process. The shift has been given as a gift from Creator. It is a gift that we, the Ascended Masters, as well as the archangels and many other of the highly evolved beings in heaven, wish for the earthlings on your planet to embrace and bestow and take to heart the opportunities that the divine is willing to put before you, so that your journey on earth is one that will lead you to nirvana when your lifetime here on earth concludes. But enlightenment truly is in each individual's hands. They must choose to step forward and step into those doors, those opportunities, and seek where we send the symbols, the messages, the opportunities to help awaken their spiritual senses, their levels of wisdom, how we can help shift their desires away from attachment to the material plane, so that you can achieve the awakening process, which is what is needed and necessary in order for you to continue your growth and ultimately continue to grow out of living life on earth. The enlightened ones on the planet have full awareness that life on earth is a temporary learning experience meant to help the soul grow and evolve. There are others who choose to keep themselves dim to this true reality and instead stay distracted by the entertainment, the circuses, the amusements, the vanities that exist on the planet. Those are the trappings. We are trying so hard to pull you out of those tests and those traps, so that when God allows the shift of the awakening process to be at a level where it is more visible and obvious, which is what has been happening, you're able to more fully embrace it and not miss your opportunities to connect, that this is a chance for you to shift your choices, your habits in your lifetime and step forward in a direction and perhaps away from the habits, the people, the places that are holding you back from getting further to achieving paradise. Because it is only through your soul's evolution that you will achieve nirvana once you return to heaven and are released from having to come back to living earthly incarnations. It is a long, difficult process for most all human beings. We are trying to speed this up for you. We are sending you guides on earth, oracles. She is one. Her messages that we have gifted you through her are a doorway for you to help achieve what will please your Heavenly Father, so that your awakening process can become more smooth, more fast, more fluid, so that your days on earth can become less.
It doesn't surprise me that you knew the questions I was going to ask, because that question about the shift in humanity, I was going to ask much later. But that's what this program is all about. Why now more than ever are the people of the world awakening to all things enlightening, spiritual, and metaphysical? And yes, I think it's more apparent than ever. And many people that I'm connected to are what we call light workers, are in that realm, and I feel like we're like the foot soldiers for you guys, you know, going ahead and doing your groundwork for you.
She said you're paving the way and you're opening doors, and you're also helping people who are still not ready to embrace the reality of this. You're helping to help them hear the messages that the guides and the messengers are delivering. So she's answering you, saying yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Kuan Yin, I hope you wouldn't mind, but I have a specific question that I'm just very, very interested in. I recently, now that Maureen and you guys have your own YouTube channel, I saw a video where you were speaking about the Ukraine-Russian war, and in the video you said that God was on the verge of wrath over the situation humans have caused here on Earth. Now, as a spiritual student, my understanding is that God, being a completely compassionate and unconditionally loving being, is incapable of anything other than that. So, thus, God feeling wrath, wouldn't that be impossible? How is that so?
No. Think of a coin. A coin has two sides. Love. God is of love. God is coming from a place still of love. God also has all sides to his energy like a father. Think like a father here on earth. Your heavenly Father feels all feelings. If God is offended, God's anger will go to wrath. God's wrath will be ignited when he sees his children commit true harm against one another. God's wrath will be inflamed when there is a direct betrayal on him through the act of atheism. God's wrath is shown on your planet through natural disasters, through plagues. God is speaking to you through your environment again and again and again of where he is unhappy, and the primary areas that wrath exists in God will be the betrayals, the lack of devotion from the atheists, as well as the harm, the murder, the wars, the violence that his children perpetuate upon his other children and his animals. The wrath is intended to be heard so that activity stops. The wrath is also intended to stop the harmful behavior, because all actions create a counteraction. And when humans create the violent actions, they're creating much more stronger karmic consequences, punishments that he will now have to execute. That is not his wish. His wish is to give the gifts of love in the form of positive blessings and gifts. Violence puts him in a position of having to send the karmic consequences in the form of tough love to discipline and teach his children on how violence and harm will only end with creating negativity and harm for themselves. Your question, what you said, is misguided. The wrath and the rage and the anger is very real. Look at it that God exists in the state of unconditional love, not the love of a puppy, the love of a true, powerful, infinite source, an abundant magnitude of unconditional love of all sides. And he will strike down those who he needs to strike down and disable to protect them from creating any more negative karmic consequences that they will have to endure and that God will have to put before them.
So God's wrath is displayed through, say, natural disasters, volcanoes, hurricanes, tidal waves. So maybe this is why Atlantis and Lemuria disappeared, that he was really displeased with them at that time.
She's saying there was a shift in the environment because of evolution. She's showing me war right now. She's also showing me a ladder. She's saying it was necessary in order to move the planet up into a higher state of evolution. It's a combination of the act of consequences because of war and violence, combined with redesigning the earth environment in a way to create a new order so that the new students sent to the planet can continue to evolve under new circumstances. But make no mistake, think all painful negative circumstances sent to your planet in the form of its environment is God speaking his level of displeasure from levels of unhappiness, anger, rage, and wrath. And then think all positive elements of your environment, the rainbows, the sunny warm days, the tranquil moments where nature is beautiful and not threatening, is God's way of touching you with his soft side of his love and blessing and comfort. It goes both sides, both ways, and it is happening at every given moment.
Well, thank you for being patient with my questions, and that was a beautiful answer, and thus the current shift in humanity. Wow, very, very interesting. Thank you, Kuan Yin. I have a specific question for Buddha. Would that be possible to talk to
It
him?
would be, because I just saw Buddha. When you saw me look up a minute ago, I saw Buddha. That's why I don't know if you're gonna get Kuan Yin, because I just saw Buddha coming right close to me. So yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let me see if he's going to answer this or if he's just
All right.
I don't know which one it is, but
You know me, Mr. Curious here. So a few years ago, author Gary Renard wrote his book, The Lifetimes When Jesus and Buddha Knew Each Other, A History of Mighty Companions. Is this true about you, Buddha and Jesus, and why were your lifetimes together important to both of you on your journeys to enlightenment?
he's starting by saying our souls are intertwined. Peace was our shared mission, as it still is. Peace was the mission that our Heavenly Father, God, gave to us to accomplish in different ways, with different practices. We still continue to work through our helpers, as well as intervene wherever we are allowed to intervene on your planet where there is disharmony, to help instill peacefulness in humans' minds and hearts. We have a brotherhood, even though Jesus is the master like no other. I work for him. I follow in his footsteps. I follow in his principles, his teachings. And peace is the primary lesson and teaching that I have always and will continue to instill and tell all souls are released from their incarnations, from having to learn on earth a highly challenging dimension, and are finally at this state of evolution with themselves to be allowed to live in God's kingdom if you do not achieve the level of peacefulness where you are incapable of harm to yourself, harm to another, harm to an animal. You cannot live in heaven on a full-time, permanent basis. In order to attain the ultimate goal, one must achieve this principle, becoming completely harmless and peaceful on all levels. And at all times, we share this principle.
Wow, that is such a beautiful picture. Thank you for sharing that. It makes me feel peaceful just hearing your answer, and I appreciate that. Wow, very exciting. One other thing I would like to ask you, Buddha, is you've been quoted as saying, "I am awake." Did you really say this, and what exactly did you mean by this?
He wants me to do this. He's right now superimposed over me. He says, yes, he says, I said, I am awake. And then he showed me him looking up at God. He's now saying, when I attained enlightenment, when I achieved the understanding that one must live in a completely pure state with their thoughts. Thoughts control feelings. Feelings control actions. When I received this insight from Creator, I was given the gift of full knowledge of how one can control the outcome of their karmic consequences and blessings, and that the only way to ever live without suffering is to live creating only karmic blessings for yourself, which is the path of living peacefully. When humans behave in any disharmonious ways, they will create the negative karmic consequences, which will then be sent to them in the form of suffering, which means experiences, circumstances in their life will now become painful and negative. I was given enlightenment about why there was suffering on the planet and why there were those who were not suffering. I worked hard and long to attain this level of enlightenment. And it has been my deepest desire to pass my teachings on to all of those who wish to learn from me, as well as to learn how to evolve. Think awake means living your life in the enlightened state, which means mindful, aware, and wise of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, so that you are disciplining yourself to keep yourself in alignment with only the thoughts and feelings of a peaceful vibration.
Thank you, Buddha, for that beautiful explanation. I loved every moment of it. That is beautiful. The tiny, tiny little blips of enlightenment I get, they just resonate with me for a long time. And the times when I am out of alignment with myself and I get my karmic rebound effect, I think I pretty much have come to understand why I was out of alignment, and that's why I received that. Yeah.
Buddha, show me right now, every step we take, we create a karma, which means he's saying word, every thought, and every action. Yeah. So Kuan Yin and Buddha are showing me, think we have a direct white line that connects our souls to God. So God is in complete connectivity with our thoughts because he's connected to us. So our thoughts, our words, and our actions at every given moment are being judged by God. So at every single moment, we are creating karma.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. And thank God for free will, where we can choose not to go down the wrong path.
Yes. And they're also saying, and thank goodness for learning how to clear up karma when we make mistakes, because in the human nature, we will make mistakes, and we are living in a dimension where there are the hidden temptations and tests that lurk all around us. So the human nature will fall down at times and make mistakes. Mm-hmm. So identifying and knowing how to clear it up is what's going to save us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would Jesus be hanging around and be able to come in and chat a little bit?
Okay. Let's see if he is. He is here. They all four were here. They opened me up, actually.
All right.
So he is here. So let me see if he has anything he would like to share, because he has his hand on my shoulder right now, and he's telling me he wants to go forward on where we were just leaving off on how we can clean up our mistakes. So thank God looks at us and is judging us on sins that we make and mistakes that we make, and that our ability to hold ourselves accountable and humble is a path that will save us from a stronger karmic consequence. Those that do not want to humble themselves and seek forgiveness from God and take accountability for a sin, a mistake, a flaw, a trespass, harm. That means harm that they have caused either someone or even themselves. Mm-hmm. Is a path where a stronger karmic consequence will absolutely be waiting for them. Devotion is how you will earn your Creator's heart and attention, as well as mine, his holy Son. I govern your world God has entrusted your planet with me. He has put it in my hands as well as the universe. Devotion means that I desire devotion just as much. Devotion and faithfulness to both God and Jesus is the door you will want to walk through in order to be forgiven quicker and more gracefully when you do slip and fall. Devotion is also the door that will earn you our protection, our help, our guidance, and our miracles. Your world is a very challenging place to live.
Yes.
You do not see always the hidden dangers that lurk. Thinking you can do this all on your own is going to be a downfall. Truly understanding that there is a higher power that governs your life, your world, and worshiping that higher power known as God is what will earn you more privileges to help you through the difficulties there. We desire nothing more than to see you succeed and make it through the chapters in your book, the book you wrote for your life on earth, to make it through your tests, your initiations, your experiences, and past them. We wish nothing more than to see all of you thrive. Your faithfulness to us is pivotal in the level of help that we are willing to give to you to help you through all of the chapters in your book. Buddha's message on peacefulness and living a peaceful life is perhaps the message you should take today, as well as Kuan Yin's on you have been given the gift of many opportunities where awakening is being shown on your planet, and that you should embrace them so that you do push yourself to evolve, so that you can continue to ascend and allow your soul to evolve so that heaven can be yours someday. We wish to help guide you until you finally make it all the way through heaven's door. Your devotion to us, your humility, your willingness to work is what we are looking for. We will hand you our hand and help you quicker and faster when you can achieve this. Jesus now just put a cross right in front of the screen here. And he told me he's now sending a blessing to everybody who has listened to the messages from the masters today.
Wow, what a beautiful message of peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus. And, you know, he mentioned when you slip and fall, get up and keep going. And I've had that message sent to me so many times, and it's been such a blessing to me. And recently, I've been falling down quite a bit and brushing off the dirt. And I realized, being a marathon runner for so many years, I was just recently indicated, said, Karl, you've got to use the same grit and determination you do when you're doing a long run in staying on the right narrow-minded path, the right-minded path back home to my father. And it really struck home with me. It's just like, oh yeah, I think I need to do that. I haven't been that same, if I have a 10-mile run coming up and it's hurting and I have this grit and determination that I don't have anywhere else in my life. Why am I not using it now in this? And I'm determined to do that now.
There you go. Patience, determination, devotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one last thing, if Mary is around also, we'd love to speak to your fourth ascended master. If she is around, I might have a couple questions for her.
Okay. All right. Well, she just put her hand here. So she is here. So you can ask and we'll see if she's willing to answer.
And thank you, Mary. Thank you for being patient with my crazy questions. Why are you so particularly aligned with the Catholic Church?
She just moved directly behind me right now. She said mother. She said she was born and created as Jesus's mother, as well as a highly evolved spiritual being for God, to serve God. She was created exactly for these missions, to help humans evolve. My devotion is endless, permanent, and boundless for my holy Son, as well as my divine Heavenly Father. I have also been gifted many miraculous powers and gifts that I am able to share with the world in the form of blessings, gifts, and miracles to ease their pain and their suffering and shift their lives from misery into happiness. But devotion to Jesus is primary, as well as me and God. I stay exactly where I am designed to be. This is where and what I have been created to help serve God and mankind in this magnificent capacity, to help save and rescue the human race from their pain and suffering, from their sins and their mistakes, to stand by the side of my Son and to serve him in all of his wishes. My heart has been created at an enormous level, where the vibrations of love extend to all of those, especially those who seek my help and who express gratitude and devotion to me. The Catholic Church is Jesus's church. The Catholic Church is God and Jesus's church. They created this religion. It is the principles. It is also God's laws, God's wishes. It is the primary religion that God wished his children, the earthlings, to live under and to live as. I am like the mother of the church, watching over all of you, helping you, nurturing you, hoping and helping you to succeed. This was my mission. It has been since the day I was created, and it always will be until you have all ascended from earth and reside in heaven with us someday.
Thank you, Mary. From all four ascended teachers that have been here coming through Oracle Maureen, some of the most peaceful messages I have ever heard, and I feel at a level of peace just hearing it like I haven't in a very, very long time. Thank you so much. Mary, just before you go, if you wouldn't mind, I was wondering, I'm going to get personal here. Is there any particular message you would like to give me?
She just put her hand on your heart and she said, open your heart more to believing and trusting into God's will. Open your heart more into allowing in the guidance from your personal guides and angels, as well as us, the Ascended Masters. Surrender more control from you and give it to us and allow us to help guide you. It is more difficult to live in that more vulnerable state, but it is the one where you will be sent more rewards from God and from us, from Jesus. Be willing to let go of the misguided thoughts and open up more to the religious teachings, because if you don't, doors will stay closed for you. God and following God's will and Jesus's is the only way that doors will ever open for you, even though it is not always an easy path, but it is the most rewarding path. Keep yourself in alignment to what their wishes are for you and for mankind, and just trust. And then she put a rosary, and she stepped out of me. She just put a rosary in your hand. So she put a rosary in your hand, Karl, and told me to tell you to pray the rosary to her. So it will help earn you more help. All three, Mary, Jesus, and God, when you pray the rosary. You're showing all three of them devotion when you do the rosary.
Okay. Wow. Really interesting. Wow. Whew. Boy, I didn't expect that. That is pretty cool. So, Maureen, you're back?
No, it takes you let's see, a little bit to get back. So not yet. It takes a while. They have to put me back, and it's a process. So it'll be like an hour before I'm actually fully back. So if I talk weird right now, it's in that state of my soul is mostly out. They still have to talk a little bit for me. It's kind of like a little disabled. So it's like I feel like I'm hypnotized, like in the middle of a sleep right now. So
thank you to all four beautiful teachers. What an honor to speak to Kuan Yin, to Buddha, Jesus, and Mary, and to Maureen, the Oracle. So wow, just amazing. Well, since you might not be all the way back, instead of me asking you how people can connect to you and work with you one-on-one, I will list all of your websites and everything and your social media so they can connect with you.
That'd be good. Yeah. Thank you.
Maureen Allen, thank you. What a blessing to have you on World Awakenings. Thank you, friend.
My pleasure. We enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
This has been another episode of World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with host Karl Gruber, a certified Law of Attraction life coach. We welcome you to tune in to each and every episode of World Awakenings as we open your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to the truth of all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how much they play an all-important role in our moment-to-moment daily life. Much love and light to you, my friend, and thank you for tuning into World Awakenings.